Welcome to episode 11 of Fiction Friday. We have been out of school for 11 weeks in Michigan. Can you believe it? I am Heather Shoemaker, author of books for kids and adults. And I wanted to show you some of the other books I've written. So I've written 2 books on early childhood, which helps adults taking care of kids age 2 to about 6 or 7, including one of the books talks about no homework in elementary school. And Saving Arcadia is an adventure story. It's a true story, and it's about saving some wonderful sand dunes on the Great Lakes. This episode, the last of the school year, is dedicated to all kids and adults who want to be writers, in particular to Emerson, Aaron, and Natalie. Emerson and his brother Charlie were test readers for the Griffins of Castle Carey, so they read it even before it was published and told me what they thought. They said, "We loved all the action and we laughed out loud and especially liked the parts with the ghosts." Now, Aaron has read the Griffins. In fact, he read it all in one day. He read it during the school day, even during math class when he wasn't supposed to. And Natalie attended one of my children's book writing classes that I sometimes teach. She was the only child in the room, and I must say that she knew a lot more about children's books than most of the adults in the room. So all of these kids are Battle of the Books kids. They're all big readers and fantastic writers. So this episode goes out to you. I came to your school, and when I was there, I didn't yet have this big guy. So I'm going to introduce him to you. This is my Newfoundland dog sidekick. We call him Snuffy. Oh, hello there, Snuffy. He is trying to be as big as a real Newfoundland dog, and he comes with me now on school visits. I'm going to read to you today a little bit from the Griffins of Castle Carey. This is a part when the kids are talking to Shep, because Shep is a nearby neighbor who knows a lot about ghosts. And he's telling the kids about ghosts. "Wait, how do you know all this?" asked Will. "A bit of personal study." "You mean you went to ghost school?" "Some of the best things in life you don't learn in school," Shep answered. "I discuss it with a friend of mine. He's a minister, in the business of souls, you might say. But mainly, I learned about ghosts as a boy by going right to the experts. Conversations with the ghosts themselves." Conversations with ghosts? Shep made it sound so friendly, Meg thought. What would she say to a ghost? "Hello, how does it feel to float?" So today I have some exciting award information to share with you, the results of 3 book competitions. So the first one is the book giveaway that we did during the month of May here on Fiction Friday. Thank you to everyone who entered for winning a picture book or a copy of The Griffins. And the winners are Zoe, Luke, Danielle, Maggie, Kelsey, and Shoshona. So congratulations to all of you. The winners have been notified, and a signed copy of those books will be going out to you soon. The second award contest that I wanted to announce is the Kids Write Contest. This was announced as a fiction writing contest for children any age from preschool on up through high school, announced here on Fiction Friday in episode 3, and we got so many entries. The judges have judged, the results are in, and today, actually, if you're watching this on Friday, May the 29th, is the day we're going to have a live crowdcast to announce the winners and read the stories aloud on air. We were overwhelmed by so many entries. 285 of you sent in stories, and they came from all over the world. We got kids writing in from New Zealand, from England, and all around the US and other countries too. So it was wonderful to see your creative ideas. If you're interested in joining in on this live crowdcast, contact Mystery to Me Bookstore in Madison, Wisconsin. They are the hosts, and we will be glad to see you there. And finally, the third award announcement is about the Griffins of Castle Carey. And I am so happy to say that it got awarded the Best for Children's Fiction Book for 2019 by a group called the Society of Midland Authors. And this is a group that's based in Chicago. They've been around for more than 100 years, and they give out awards every year. They celebrate Midwestern authors. So this was a 12-state award. Authors from Ohio and Missouri, and Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, many, many states entered. And so the Griffins won, which is really cool. I wanted to have my story cape now. See if I choose one from the back. Okay. Oh, red, a good color, because this is the one that symbolizes the red dictionary that my 5th grade teacher gave me. So I've saved this all these years. She inscribed in it, "To Heather, whose writing is interesting to read." And I had saved this dictionary and kept it in where I do my writing, because I needed that encouragement. When I was 10 and I was in 5th grade, this meant so much to me that my teacher had given me the world in words and said she believed in my writing. Have you ever had a teacher do that for you? The desire to be an author often starts in elementary school, sometimes high school. And so it's so important that we encourage each other along the way. It often comes from reading books from kids who just love to read and think, that was amazing. I want to create something just as wonderful. So for all you teachers out there, keep on encouraging all those stories. Doesn't matter what the spelling looks like. It's what the stories are and how kids are playing with the language. All right, the writing tip today is a little different. We've covered a lot of different topics on these Fiction Fridays. We talked about characters and dialogue and point of view and a lot of the elements that go into writing. But today I want to actually share with you something I think is the most important thing of all if you want to be an author. And that is believing you can do it and keep on going. They say the difference between a writer and a published writer is persistence. That means not giving up. Just keep writing, keep trying, because sometimes you will get rejections. I shared some of my rejection letters earlier in earlier shows. So I want to talk about the emotions of being a writer. Sometimes being a writer is a bit of a fragile thing. You're putting your innermost thoughts and your secret private ideas out there in words that other people are going to read, sometimes in public. And that can be a little nerve-wracking. But it's something that's absolutely essential. Our stories are precious to us, and you're going to keep getting better. Some of us get better at dialogue first. Some of us get better. We have huge vocabularies and we really have a good command of the language. Others are just sort of born storytellers where we know how to throw in some humor at the right time or make it really suspenseful. So whichever part of writing you're good at right now, if you keep at it, you will start to be better at the other parts too until it all comes together in a whole. So don't worry if your story doesn't get chosen for a contest, if you don't always win the award. It's very nice to get that kind of encouragement, but even when it doesn't happen, you have to keep on believing for yourself. So and the people around you have to know how important they are. For example, it was my brother when I was wondering, am I good enough to be a writer? Can I do it? He just said these simple words: you're a writer. And coming from him, because he was my brother who'd known me all my life, that meant a lot. Or from my fifth grade teacher who gave me the dictionary and said, your writing is interesting to read. She was a teacher that I just loved and respected. So if there's someone like that who you love and respect and they tell you, I like your writing, that can carry you a long way. I also had a high school teacher who said in the margins of one of my stories, you're going to be a writer when you grow up, right? And I actually hadn't really thought about it. I sort of dreamed about it, but I never really thought about it. So these sorts of encouragements along the way really help us and help us keep going when we begin to doubt if we can ever really do it. So since being a writer has a lot of big emotions involved and we need a lot of encouragement, I would like to share a story about encouraging you. When I was little, my dad would sometimes go off on trips and he would go speak at a conference. And when grown-ups go to conferences, they often give you name tags, hang around your neck. And if you are speaking at the conference, they might put a ribbon under it that says speaker. If you are an author, he did a scientific paper, so he got a ribbon under his name tag that said author. And when he came home and showed me his name tag with this author ribbon, and this is the same one, I asked if I could have it. He said, sure, he didn't need it anymore. And I took this ribbon that said author on it, and I stuck it, I still have the fun tack, stuck it in my bedroom door where I could always see it and believe in it. And then when I grew up and went away, I took it off my bedroom door and I stuck it right where I do my writing, near my computer. And I still have it today, this author ribbon. And I thought someday I'm going to live into this. I am going to become this author. And so I decided that other kids need this sort of author ribbon encouragement. And so I have made up some author ribbons. And it says author in gold. It's a ribbon that you might win for, get for winning a race. But this is my way of saying, I believe in you. You are going to write incredible books. It might take you a few years, but you are going to be able to pin this on your bedroom door or your bulletin board or right by your bed or wherever it is that you keep your special things, and know that a real author who's published books believes that you will also grow to be a wonderful author too. So I know that I can't just reach out and hand it to you. If I were at your school or we were meeting at the library, I could give this to you. So what I'm going to do is say for the first 10 kids who don't already have one of these, who would like to write in, send me a note, I will mail you, if you give me your mailing address, an author ribbon just for you. This is how you can send me a note. Just go to my website, heathershoemaker.com, and you will find on the contact page a way to write to me, send me an email. Are you ready for today's joke? Since I wrote a ghost story, and one of the books I have to recommend today is a ghost story as well, this is a ghost joke. What does a panda ghost like to eat? What does a panda ghost eat? Bamboo. All right, I have some great book recommendations for you today. And these also have to do, not only are they fantastic books, but these books remind me of the power of encouraging other writers. So one of them is 50 years old, and one of them is brand new, written last year. This book, The House with a Clock in Its Walls. You may have heard of it because they made a movie rather recently. I think it would be too terrifying to see the movie because this book is scary. It is a ghost story. It's much scarier than the Griffins, which I think of in the spooky category, the suspenseful category. This one can have some downright scary parts, but it's also a funny and quirky book. It's an amazing book, and I read it in 5th grade and loved it. What I want to tell you about this book is the author, John Bellairs, lived around the corner from my grandmother. And so she had, look, he signed the book for me, for Heather, with best wishes, John Bellairs. He signed this book for me when my grandmother walked around the corner and wanted to give me a birthday present. She always gave me books. And to me, this was more than a really exciting story, because I knew that he was my grandmother's neighbor, and that he lived in a real house just around the corner from her street. And so it gave me encouragement that real people, regular people, were authors. And I used to think, I know an author. I actually never met him, but I had walked by his house and I knew that he lived there. And that was super important to me. So if you like ghost books and enjoy a good scare, try The House with the Clock in Its Walls by John Bellairs. And there's 2 more books he wrote with the same characters afterwards. They're all pretty scary, but they're all appropriate for kids, and I loved them when I was little. The other book I wanted to share is called For Black Girls Like Me by Marianna Lockington. And this is I love it when I discover a new author who I just love their books. And so that's what happened when I first read this book. I just said, this is an author I want to keep reading. And I love it when that happens. This is a book that's mostly set in the real world. So it's a story about a Black girl who is adopted into a white family. And it's more than an adoption book, but it has a lot of adoption ideas in it. And as I said, it's a realistic book. It's mostly set in the real world, but it has a little element that she brings into her storytelling of the spiritual, magical world too, because there's a time where the Georgia bells come in, and the Georgia bells sort of sing to the main character, and they sing her songs and whisper voices to her about her own birth family heritage. And it's beautiful writing, amazing writing, and in a way, she's sort of a neighbor too, because Marianna Lockington went to Interlochen Center for the Arts, the summer camp they have there, which is just around the corner from where I live. And she also went to high school for her senior year at the boarding school that Interlochen has. And so I think, oh, she was right around the corner learning to write her stories at Interlochen. Another thing I wanted to share with you about this author, who I love so much, is that she, in her acknowledgement pages, the back pages where people thank people that have helped them, one of the people that she says who's mentored her, sort of helped her along the way, is another author named Tayari Jones. And Tayari was in turn mentored by a beloved children's book author, Judy Blume. And so the help and the encouragement just keeps going on from one author to the next. And that's what I would like to do for you. So if you need a copy of For Black Girls Like Me, or The House with the Clock in Its Wall, or The Griffins of Castle Carey, or any book that I've mentioned on this show that looks interesting, or maybe that you didn't win in the book giveaway, you can buy all these books at your local bookstore. Bookstores are opening back up now, which is wonderful. In some places, you can actually go to the bookstore, depending where you live. And if not, they'll be opening soon. You can also support your local indie bookstore when you buy these books from these great authors, or order through Bookshop and select your local indie author from their page. Bookshop.org is a way to buy online in a way that supports local independent bookstores. This is our last weekly episode for now. I have truly enjoyed doing these Fiction Fridays. I may do more in the future, but school is out and we're going to be out for the summer. I may do more in the future, as I said, so subscribe, and that way you'll find out when a new episode of Fiction Friday comes up. I'm so glad that you watched these, and this was my gift to you to help us all through the pandemic. We made it through the first part, and we're going to make it through the next part. If you like the show, here's an idea. Why don't you send me a photo of your pet reading The Griffins of Castle Carey. Whatever you have, a dog, a llama, a sheep, a hamster, a mouse, see if you can pose them with a copy of The Griffins of Castle Carey. Maybe you even have a big brown Newfoundland dog. That would be fun. So if you happen to be a Newfie owner, that would be a lot of fun to see a copy of the Griffins next to your dog. So send me a picture of your pet with the Griffins of Castle Carey. That would be awesome. That would give me encouragement. And I hope they like the book too. Keep in touch. If you would like to find out when my next book is coming out or when my next book will be published, join my author newsletter. I send this out periodically to let people know behind the scenes what's going on in my author life, and I will tell you about new titles. Just go to my website, heathershoemaker.com. You can find my email and send me a little note, and I'd be happy to add your family to my author newsletter list. And meanwhile, have a great summer. It's going to be a different summer, but who knows, it might be a very interesting one. And someday, when you grow up, maybe you will write a story set in this very different, interesting summer. And I would love to read that book. So Erin, Emerson, and Natalie, I hope you enjoyed this show dedicated just to you. You are going to write great books. All of you out there who want to become authors, I believe in you. I'm rooting for you, and you're going to write great books. Keep on reading, keep on writing, and have a wonderful summer. That's all. It's been a joy to share Fiction Fridays with you. Bye-bye.